October 5th, 2020, last day of the summer transfer window. With 45 minutes to go to the deadline, Arsenal announced that Thomas Partey will be an Arsenal player. Now, Arsenal's pursuit of the Ghanian was no secret. On the other hand, it actually stretches back a few seasons. But it was a saga that played out this transfer window, and the way Arsenal finally landed their man by removing Atletico Madrid completely out of the picture is what makes this transfer even more intriguing. Hello and welcome everyone, my name is Abdullah, and in today's video we are going to look at Arsenal's pursuit of Thomas Partey and how the club was eventually able to sign him. If you are new around here, please consider subscribing, and for all my returning subscribers, welcome back, hit that like button and let's jump right into it. Now, it is no secret that Arsenal has been on the lookout for an orthodox number 8 since the days of Patrick Vieira. Football has changed quite a bit since then, but for some reason, a box-to-box midfielder is someone Arsenal just couldn't get a hold of. There were quite a few players who came and unsuccessfully auditioned for that role. So when Arsenal finally got their man in Thomas Partey on October 5th, in the final hour of the final day of the transfer window, fair to say there were some happy faces in the Arsenal camp. Arsenal's interest in Partey apparently stretches back to 2014 when our long-standing senior scout Francis Kakigao identified him as a good fit. First, he proposed Thomas to Papa Wenger, and then when the regime changed a few years later, he was persistent and suggested the same player to Emery and our new head of recruitment, Sven Mislintat. Emery was already an admirer of Partey's combination of power, technique and intelligence from his time in La Liga. Partey's representatives were even present at the Emirates Stadium in April of 2019. Talks with high-level club officials were held at the club's Highbury house, and Partey's demands were made plain. A salary in excess of €250,000 per week, with a signing-on fee of €2.5 million, plus the associated agent's commission, along with the €50 million buyout clause, which had to be deposited in a single installment. It made for an expensive deal. Despite Emery's admiration for the player, he made clear to the board that his priority was that of a winger. That led to Arsenal focusing on the expensive pursuit of Wilfried Zaha and ultimately landed on Nicolas Pepe. Arsenal's interest, however, did not end there. Arsenal kept a keen eye on Partey over the last 2 seasons, even watching him play live on multiple occasions, and when the recommendations for this transfer window were put forth, Thomas Partey found himself at the top of the list. Now, the 2020 transfer window was like no other. The financial restrictions because of the COVID pandemic were in full flow, effectively curbing the spending of most clubs, and the ones who were selling were sitting tight with their asking price. But at the same time, buoyed by a new manager and his immediate effect on the first team results, the club knew they had to get business done and reinforce the needed positions come what may. Prime areas for improvement included a new centre-back, a winger playmaker, quintessential number 10 and of course an orthodox box-to-box midfielder. And rather surprisingly, Arsenal went about their business quite effectively. They jostled with Napoli and Everton for the signing of Gabriel from Lille. They jumped on the opportunity to sign Willian from Chelsea as soon as he was available. Dani Ceballos was retained on loan, and to add to that, key players for the future such as Saka and Aubameyang were tied to long-term contracts. But the number 10 and number 8 were yet to be signed. For the number 10 position, Houssem Aouar of Lyon turned out to be the prime candidate. Supposedly, Arteta had been a fan of him from his time working at Manchester City, and throughout the transfer window, Arsenal seemed confident of landing the Frenchman. Talks proceeded between the Arsenal technical director Edu and Lyon sporting director Juninho, but Arsenal kept lowballing Lyon's asking price of €50 million, and the decision maker at Lyon, President Jean-Michel Aulas, made no bones about the fact that his player won't be leaving for a penny less. Edu and Arteta knew they had to get their other man. Arsenal sources indicate that it was not a case of one player over the other. Rather, it was a case of what was possible in this transfer window. And rather unsurprisingly, Atletico too were adamant on their asking price from the beginning, and they held a firm no on any negotiations, including a player swap plus cash deal. Now here is where it gets interesting. Arsenal wanted Partey all along, and all throughout the window, Atletico played hardball in not entering into any negotiations below the buyout clause. Arsenal knew the only way to get their target was to pay his release clause, for which in Spain you deal directly with the Football Association, the La Liga. and if the player is willing, the parent club's consent is not required. So with days down to hours down to minutes, Arsenal pulled the trigger and directly approached La Liga, paying the release clause, and as a result left Atletico no chance of stalling or vetoing this deal in any way possible. Atletico were left furious at the lack of notice, with one senior source describing Arsenal's approach as incredible and feels the relationship between the two clubs is now irreparable. This smelled eerily similar to how Arsenal approached Mikel Arteta back when he was at Manchester City. But with time ticking down on the transfer window, there was no time for any courtesy calls from Arsenal. Thomas Partey is now a gooner. Celebrations rung all over the globe, with most of club's fans not used to their club actually getting their target on the final day, and rounding off what has honestly been a very successful transfer window. For my parting words, I would like to quote Tom Canton.
Awesome Awar improves us. Thomas Partey transforms us.
Thank you for watching, ladies and gents. Hope you guys liked this video. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up. For the newer folk around here, we create Arsenal related content and we look forward to having you back again.